Chicano dinosaurs and Latinx catching babies under one roof is a beautiful thing. It truly, truly is. This is the celebration of Los Delicados, 3 days of Floricanto. This is the second night, so this is a beautiful thing being here in poetic ceremony with y'all. Real quick, we are going to go over what is a Floricanto, if you'll allow me to read the definition to you. Is that all right? Yes. What is a Floricanto? Floricanto comes from the Aztec term, the Nahuatl language term for poetry, in Xochitl y Quicat, meaning poetic expression that brings together two images, flower and song, to create a third and often deeper meaning. Floricanto poetry highlights the creative and transformative power of language to engender change. At the height of the Chicano movimiento in 1971, Chicano poets Juan Felipe Herrera and Aloysta began performing spoken word poetry and music, mixing Spanish, English, Spanglish, and Nahuatl. They gathered with La Raza at large festivals in the Southwest that would last for 3 days to celebrate their Mexican and indigenous heritage and define their political voice. The poeta Alfred Arteaga said, "This is what poetas Chicanos do. They take flower in one hand and song by the mouth, before La Raza, that is, the people, and chant the colors of verse, the rhythms of poetry." That's what we're here to do tonight.
That's right. These hands, which have never picked cotton. My father unexpectedly pulled the car to the side of the interstate and ordered his 4 children out into the cotton field. Confused, we set down our video games and flipped off our headphones. Following reluctantly, he said, "You've never picked cotton. You have no idea what it's like. It looks so soft, but it has thorns which cut at the fingers, even through gloves." We mortified teens reach down with sideways glances, embarrassed by the passing cars, pluck tiny clouds while rolling eyes, swallow a handful of humble, but the real lesson will not be digested until years later. They say the first generation sacrifices so that the second generation can achieve, only for the third generation to squander. And these third generation hands, these hands have never picked cotton. These hands which have never picked cotton, softer than fathers or grandfathers. These hands have never felt the prick of burrs, scrape deep, draw blood. These fruitless hands which have never plucked grapes from the vine are strangers to orange groves and grapefruit rows. These fragile knuckles have never scraped over washboards or scrubbed floors for money, but have been caressed by abuela who did so in my place. These hands which have spent more hours pushing buttons than planting, with these fingertips, tender as abuelos' whispers, uncalloused as the fulfillment of grandmother's wishes, tender as this back which has never ached in labor, never felt sun-baked flesh, stretched beyond endurance, never known struggle as synonymous with sunrise, this body may not know, but must never forget. These hands which have never worked leather, hammered heels, yanked soles, repaired saddles, sanded and polished shoes, Grandpa did so that I may not. They say the first generation sacrifices, the second generation achieves for the third generation to squander. And these third generation hands need to find purpose. These empty hands, I'm told, hold so much promise. These hands which have never picked cotton. This body, bones, muscle, youth not yet sacrificed to feed children. This body understands struggle builds character, but is still searching for what these hands will build. These selfish hands, these lazy, delicate hands, these assimilated, American-made, these idle devil's playthings play dead, as if incapable of growing, crafting, sculpting a new America with these hands. These hands which have never loaded weapons, these eyes which have never stared war in the face, spared by dad's tour of duty, claim all these things I've never done. The softness of this body feels dad's scars etched someplace on the skin of my soul. With these legs which have never hiked foreign jungles, are these legs so untested that they will be the first generation not able to support their own weight? Will they buckle only to lay around and lounge? Was that Abuelo's goal of coming to this land of third, fourth, fifth generations, where what comes easily goes unesteemed as these hands cover the ignorantly bored yawn of privilege? These hands which have never picked cotton become more American at rest, softer, dumber, their long-term memory loss bashing that next generation of immigrants who dare to aspire to my luxury of laziness, resting on these feet which have never walked factory floors, spent more time marching in protest than harvesting produce. These clumsy hands, more hours in libraries than in labor, in classrooms rather than cleaning public bathrooms. More toys than tools, more theory than action. These grateful hands write words of hope, of remembering and being remembered. Give back this gift. Scratch feeble offerings to those who came before. These hands, these reverent hands, grapple to fold together the past and the present like hands folding in prayer. In the tradition of my abuela, bisabuela, tatarabuela, pray to their same God my modern concerns. These feet stand on shoulders, reach down, not to pick cotton, but to pull up the next generation. These words are for you. These hands which have never picked cotton are ready to park the car at the side of the road and snap the children out of their stupor and into the fields to appreciate the art of craft, of digging in the earth as creators. If struggle breeds character and sloth a deadly sin, then I am either the harvest my ancestors cultivated or their sacrifices sinfully squandered. They say the first generation sacrifices, the second generation achieves for the third generation to squander. And these third generation hands, these hands which have never picked cotton, these obligated hands are not my own. Tin, tin.
Got a doo-wop in the hot spot of the tom-tom pots and a snare skillet tom-tom pots. Say what? Hard bop, bebop was getting got with doo-wop in the chop shop of the tom-tom pots and a snare skillet tom-tom pots. A ripple of jazz spills from the lips of a window. Boom, ba-boom, 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 bank. Neon bulbs blink back, boom, blink, and syncopate with attitudes, attitudes. What's up? Attitudes, attitudes. Below, a street light down, beats bop, a biggity bops, a beat bop, slip bop, bop, a bang, boom, bang, slang, glam and glitz, winks its eyes on passersby. The scene drives by, my eyes rolling in its wheels. Down the block, anxiety waits in line. I saw loneliness and irony performing street shows and drinking dead presidents from cups. Oh, but that Lincoln Añejo, man, oh, that tastes so good. But yo, have you had the blue label Roosevelts? Oh, those are dope to drink from your cup. Man, shady shadows are always down for something to go down and around and around and around, round midnight. The scene low rides and sidewinds and sidewinds and low rides and high signs and sidewinds and high signs and low rides and high signs again. Listen. 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 Tom pots. Listen to the transcribed grinding of minds, walking and talking. Boom, 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 ba-doom, boom, boom, ba-diggity, boom, 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 ba-ding, da, boom, bang, boom, bang, boom, 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 ba-bam, boom, ba-boom, ba-boom, ba, bidi-bidi-bidi, boom, ba-bum, boom. I strut up and down hills and bills and frustrations and conversations with my confrontations. Stop! Now twilight, running down the street, screaming, evening's coming, evening's coming, evening's coming, jazz is coming. Did you see that man? He was sitting in a chair right there, and he had this thing that was like a tube, and it was made like out of brass. Yeah, that's what it's called, brass. And it was coming out of his mouth. I thought it was like his tongue or something, or like it was like a third lung. And then like music started coming out of it. And I was like, whoa, what is that? He said, that's a riff, brother. It's a riff. And I said, whoa, you were blowing my mind because I never heard of J-A-Z-Z. So can you feel me? I mean, is it just like blues that drip from the toes? When you got the blues inside and you gotta get it out and it just wants to explode and it erupts into guitar riffs. The scene low rides and high signs and sidewinds. Again, listen to a ripple of jazz spilling from the lips of a window. Hard bop, bebop was getting got with hip hop in the chop shop of the tom pots. Of the tom pots. Hard bop, bebop was getting got with doo wop in the chop shop of the tom pots. The tom. Hard bop, a bebop was getting got with hip in the hot spot of the tommity pots. The tommity pots. Hard bop.
I call. Mommy, you're not going to believe this. This is like super prestigious. ¿Qué? I was born in El Salvador, like my parents, and we landed here when I was 8 years old. Super important, like big deal grant, like white people money. Dinero? Sí. Ah, qué bueno. I'm going to study African ancestry in El Salvador. ¿Qué? Afrodescendencia. Afro. Where do you get that idea? I grew up in San Fran, and really most of the time in South San Francisco, a cool burb full of Filipinos, Mexicans, and Italians. But then we moved back to San Fran, where my sister and I were chola wannabes hanging out on 2-4. That's 24th and Mission to the layperson, before gentrification, so you know it was gangsta. My parents hightailed it out of there across the Bay Bridge and to the white burbs. As soon as I graduated high school, I was ready to get back into the mix. My bestie, a mixed girl, Chinese and white with a perm, was like, girl, Oakland is where it's at. Oakland? Why Oakland, though? I'm all about Frisco. Girl, all my homies in the town. And the underground hip-hop scene is the bomb. Underground parties and bad boys? I'm down. Before I knew it, I was living across the street from the lake on Grand Avenue, downstairs from her homies, an MC and a beat maker. Boom, bat, da-dun-ta-ta, boom, bat, da-dun-ta-ta, boom, bat, da-dun-ta-ta, all day, every day, and lots of Indo smoke. Hey, I'll fade you a blunt. Word. We smoke till Jen says, hey, let's roll out to Zanzibar. Hells yeah, DJ Tokes. Let me down the Zima right quick. 90s, right? Yeah, you could laugh. So SF had some of the flyest spots, but Oakland had the dopest dance hall DJs. We transcend to Jamaica. humidity, weed, and bombastic dance hall. A tiny restaurant turned club at night. People winding on the dance floor, by the bar, everywhere. Jen and I squeeze in to get some tequila shots. Then we hear Rastafari dreaded dudes holler, "Bumbukla!" Ba-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da, 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 ba-da. No, no, no. You don't love me, and I know now. Girl, don't sing. I don't care. I'm too busy butterflying. Some more drinks and sweaty dancing later, we head to Butter, a warehouse in the Potrero district. Now, in my younger days, I used to sport a shag. When I went to school, I carried lunch in a bag. Girl, you doing too much. She keeps on passing me by. I love that song. The song ends, and we head to the bar. Long Island's, because we getting faded. The crowd pauses, and then we hear, "Bumbukla, ba-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da, ba-da." No, no, no! A couple guys come up behind us, and we wind down to the floor. The song ends, and my dance partner buys me a Goldschlager and back to the dance floor. A few songs later, Jen comes up and says, "Hey, they just paged me. Let's roll to Mr. Floppy's." Mr. Floppy's is a mansion in East Oakland. We meet our homies on the wooden couches on the wooden deck. On the couches on the wooden deck. Soulful music plays in the background, and they pass around the blunt. That's some sticky, icky shit. The set changes, and all of a sudden we hear, "Bumbukla." I stumble to my feet. No, no, no. You don't love me. Shorty, you lit. I wake up to my head pounding, my Cheeto-stained lips cracked, and I'm thirsty as hell. I down a Coke, throw some dance clothes on, and close over that, and I head to my African American Studies class at Laney Community College. This cowrie shell necklace, Maasai beaded earrings, and bangles say, I know who I am. I received affirmation from a good book last night, Cornell West, Race Matters. Racism is so much a part of American history and culture that it can only be addressed until that reality is addressed. Most of my students have no knowledge of the rich history they stand upon. I tell them, we all come from Africa, descendants of the mighty Egyptians who built pyramids for their pharaohs to ascend into the heavens. They boast 5 women pharaohs. Hatshepsut ruled with peace and prosperity. This young Latina stays after class. She'd never heard of women in leadership, never heard of the African diaspora to the Americas. I suggest she look into her family tree. Racism attempts to erase ancestral knowledge, but the bones know the truth. I flash back to this academic high school I went to in HP, Hunters Point. Dudes had the word ruthless scrawled in the back of their face. It was hood. Ruthless, my style's a juvenile. As soon as I stepped foot on campus, the Mexicans and Salvadoreños claimed me as their friend. The black kids were like, what are you? What you mixed with? Ooh, you got good hair. As in curly, not that nappy, but it can still dread. My friend Tony goes, hey, why you talking to the Mayates, though? The Afro-Haitian rhythm brings me back to the Laney dance room, and I grab one of the big white skirts Lynn, who studied under Catherine Dunham, brings to class. We begin with the usual, Haitian walking across the floor and isolations. Then Lynn tells us, see, folks needed to keep their spirits up. That's why we sing and dance. Then folks figured out they could warn each other of danger and hide fighting techniques in the dance. So the slave master thought they were singing and dancing, but they were getting ready to liberate themselves. Now, let's get the dance. Word. Back to my phone call. A professor told me, no es salvadoreño, ¿verdad? No, she's African American. She says black. She doesn't like to be called black. Black is a color, she says. And she said that if I look down my family tree, I might see people that look more like her than they do me. I mean, Papi is kind of dark, and, you know, Mama Marta, tu abuela, es morena. Negros en El Salvador, no, Milta, no. Mire, even if it was true, they would never talk about those things. No, no, no. They hide that information. They? Who's they? El gobierno? Imagínese. They don't even have records of indígenas. Imagínese for Afro. No, Milta, no. Eso no. It's dangerous. Over there is not like here. Poof. Just like that. Gone in one phone call. Fast forward to many years later, I'm still sitting here wondering what it means to be 100% Salvadoreña. Thank you.
One, two. ¿Cómo está, everybody? How you feeling? How you feeling? I'm going to start off with the foundation, some hip-hop. We're going to get into some other things after that. But make some noise for all the beautiful things you heard this evening. Come on, man. Feel free to stand up. I'm going to do this one for y'all real quick first. Make some noise for DJ Agana in the house. Eso. 1, 2, 1, 2. Eso. Yo, it ain't easy when you living in the past. Slow-mo video, feeling rigmarole. It ain't hard if you really want it to last or to help it grow, glow. And I already know the root of all evil is some paper called cash. But that dough got a grip on so many more. That's why demons move when they see us on the path. With the mojo, bumping your radio, bathing in the bitter light, craving just to get it right. Maven when I get a mic, staying on a satellite, still ain't got the battle right. Staying on electrolyte, sleeping on the bed of spike, steady with what I recite. We are the thread for the baby in the blanket, tucked away until he gotta get up like a man did. Wrinkles like rivers, and everybody planned it. Fire water got a brother feeling like a bandit. Welcome to the feast, so sweet. So we can set like the sun, everyone. We put our vibes to a beat, feel the heat. Now we let the heart run to a drum. Yeah. See, where the day and night meet, discreet. Where the grass don't grow anymore. We gon' take it to the streets every week. Something stopping you to grow, let it go. Let it go. When the pen hit the paper like a meteor crash, souls will take a hold, we be breaking the mold. Greater when the fader got the music on blast. Whoa, when the bullet hole, it's another for show. The ups and the downs every day, how they clash. This yellow brick road go to a dead end, I know. Take a little time, you're gonna move too fast. The tempo flows so like a river of gold. Look under the same sky, whether it be day or night, we can see the flames high. Let a brother do the right thing when we aim high. Look at a crane fly, living through the pain, why? Cause it's just a part of life. Don't let your body get drained. You can let go of the chains. Wish that I could do the same. Some are gonna live a name. You can feel the body strain. They be feeding on the grain that I well maintain. Let it rain. Welcome to the feast. So sweet. So we can set like the sun. Everyone. We put our vibes to a beat. Feel the heat. Now we let the heart run to a drum. Yeah. Where the day and night meet, discreet. Where the grass don't grow anymore. We gon' take it to the streets every week. Something stopping you to grow, let it go. Let it go. If you feel good, stand up.
It's the heat. This heat pulling eyebrows down, making mouths drag and pant legs arch. It's the heat stealing sanity, combustible reactions, heat from where your legs begin and end. It's the heat screaming at you as your baby watches and stretching the skull, continuing the car's thrusting through gas air, slowing everything down and popping off and slapping him. Because you're just tired of that. The streets lined and palm trees weeping, soot flies like rage in every direction, deepening diaphragms. Pressing our lips, weeping like hands, blood alive with tears. Sweat follows days like blooming black orchids. Sweat follows days like blooming black orchids. And while Orfeo sings, does a favela listen? And is it like this in all countries? It is. Dribbling harmony, display lays, running. Be on the lookout for a male Hispanic in a black shirt. Be on the lookout for a male Hispanic in a blue shirt. Heat making revolutions vacate shells, empties hearts feeling rage. And spit upon, we try to open our eyes amid more tears and more smoke, more exhaust, and we choke. More fires eclipsing the sunset. Rage and fire, steps, fire, steps. Freedom stepped on, freedom sold in the name of ideology of Buy American that flat slobs joke about the low-end theory we live in, we comprise, we compose our daily lives by. Rage, steps, fire. Don't clutch your bag, lady. Don't clutch your bag. And she asks if I still have an accent. Do you still have an accent, she asks. No, I'm not paying, but you broke something. No one feels the same ways in resonance and sirens and steps, pounding to be free, feet pounding to be free, feet pounding to be free, to be innocent but proved guilty again. Didn't we see it today? This time a white jury. This time a story. This time some gene chromosome particle in my DNA strand. But why can't they see what it's like living day by day, day by day, day by day, day by day? Step, running, day by day, day by day, day by day, day, praying, running. It's got to be the heat. It's got to be the heat. It's got to be the heat. It's got to be the heat.
But I'm going to start with a little bit of Ho'oponopono, yes? The ancient Egyptian spiritual practice that involves learning to heal all things by accepting total responsibility for everything that surrounds us. I love you. I'm sorry. Forgive me. Thank you. Yemaya sesu, asesu yemaya, yemaya sesu, asesu yemaya, yemaya olodu yemaya. Water is Woman is water swelling, ebbing, birthing, seeping, melting, freezing, crystallizing, boiling, vaporizing, shrouding, embracing, always adapting. Woman is mother, is living water, half our earth, portal between dimensions of manifestation and dreams, prayer and life. She who turns the spigot controls your reality. But water lies low, adopting the contours of any vessels that seek to hold it, always disguising its depth by evening its placid surface. Respects no boundaries or weakness, disappears but is never truly gone, escapes as stealthy molecules driven by wind. Water wears masks of rain, river, spring, deluge, takes on the expressions of your desires. Water is the muse of form, the droplet eternally suspended over an infinite pool of desire. One descends, another is poised to fall. Mother is water, is prayer, is life, is a mirror, is beauty, is breath, is mist, secret of alchemists. Who truly rules water? It answers only to the moon. Mother is water, is goddess, is water, is restorative, rejuvenating, fountain of divinity, Red Sea. Woman is water, is water, is water, is water, is water, is water, quenching wave upon wave of infinite thirst. Water is woman, is mother, is goddess, is. You can't whisper lies to a candle or a mirror razor blade smile. Pillars have fallen and new thrones erected. The beaver moon is blood red tonight. Hindsight is the vantage point of sages. Full stop, stifle mode, wait until the waiting is over. Then rewrite your reality. Find something more compelling than habit or fear. There are more pieces of you now, more fractures and flecks in you. You've contracted into atoms, expanded throughout galaxies, yet you're still whole. Age distilled your essence and adorned you with grace. You glide by sky, a shooting star unnoticed. You were branded with an invisible, unpronounceable, silent name. Your allure is wonder. Understanding is overrated. The moment is. The breath is. You are ether clinging to earth. You've been mistaken for being human. I gotta say, I love the ums. It's like when you get a good piece of food and you don't want to share it. Thank you, I appreciate that. Y'all are sweet. I'm sorry. If it was simple, there'd be no gray. Just love. Just love. He hunts differently. Keep the tiger on the leash. If reported, escaped, tamed, or captured, he'd eat a bullet for breakfast. We are both tethered to IEDs. We'd both be gone too soon. Luckily, I'm familiar with reading ceilings. These tears are for a Kabul barracks, a bomb shelter, comforter on a cot, not me. Even in a cage, he's trained to hunt. If I told he would be a statistic, another black man gone crazy, another PTSD bedtime story, my penance for silence, kill shot in crosshairs until he dies, I am not safe. So I keep the tiger on its leash. Enemies and lovers close by, threat assessed. I'm sorry. He'd had years to digest it, his heart too afraid to speak of the dips and persistent dreams hovering high above the turmoil of hours, lives ending, others breaking, regret waking him every morning, a cloying lover offering breakfast in bed. He was never full. When the cold front came, lilacs froze in clusters, and his startled heart broke as she walked past. She never meant harm. But after dark, her mind conjured shadows, buried slights, rise like B-movie zombies, wielding a lifetime of doubts and unanswered questions, and this strange anger, this luminous as a red flag waving, overtook the night's comfort, her own voice screaming, "Run!" Time is catching up. If it wins, you're here for eternity. Plunge into that field of thorns. Lately, I leave faint trails of ash in my footsteps, barren pigment unfertilized on my canvases, frosted fingertips that evaporate from shiny surfaces, and clumps of dreadlocked hair shed like frozen branches. Cauterized in my throat, words drop from my lips like lumps of Christmas coal. My indigo skin fading into rabbit pink vitiligo. Hurry, hurry, before all that remains is a sigh. Oh yeah, they get cheerier after this. Please forgive me. Magnetic love letters on a faux wood board, nothing behaves as it should. Your mother is a liar. Your latchkey doesn't let you in, it lets her out of a marriage based on greed, opens the door to her dormant ambitions. This new man ain't the first time. She pinned her passion onto earning potential, announced their marriage before his proposal to one-up her rival. Bet you never heard that lullaby. Your mother is a liar. Your daddy wasn't rich, but he was so damn good looking. So hush, little baby, hush, little man, what I tell you, she may have birthed you, but I named you X. For your true father is unknown, an absent variable. I've been here since you were a thought, a wish, a seed. I've loved you as much as she jealously allowed, tried to shield you from your parents' toxic love, but that version clashed with her halo, comadre essentialist to persona non gratis, transgressed, the sinner who misses you like crazy. 20 years from now, when you've grown a family, when you've found someone to cherish your imperfections despite the lies you tell yourself, you will know. Your mother's a liar. Your mother was no kind of saint, but your daddy wasn't Satan. Just a man, just a human, just like you, just like me.
It's Sunday morning. We went to morning mass at the mission in San Juan Bautista like always. My ma and Sylvie are visiting my nana next door like always. Pa is at the Big Red Barn flea market like always. I'm home alone in my bunk, lying on my stomach, eating Fritos, reading like always. Encyclopedia Brown Saves the Day is so cool. I would definitely be friends with Encyclopedia Brown if I went to his school. I hear the station wagon park in the spot right next to my window. Pa is home from the flea market. I hear him open the front door, call my name, stomp across the kitchen right into me and Sylvie's little bedroom. Right away, I can smell beer, but not too much. Surprise, he says. He's a little drunk, but he's not mad. So even though Ma's not home, I think I'll be okay. Maybe. He puts a big box down on the floor right next to my bed. It's wrapped up in a rope tied. It's wrapped up with rope tied in a messed up bow on top. My nickname, Gordo, is written in my pa's big ugly letters. What's that, I ask. A present, says Pa. It's not my birthday. It's not Christmas. I'm surprised to get a present. Really, Pa? For me? Correcto. It's yours, Gordo. Why? Just because, says Pa. Oh my God, my first ever just because present. I shake the box. It's heavy. It sounds like there's all kinds of things in there. Can I open it, I ask? Pa smiles and nods his head. I pull and pull on the rope, and even though it's not thick, it's really strong. I can't get it off the box. Pa starts laughing, takes out his pocket knife, pulls out the blade. Here, use this, Gordo, says Pa. Pero cuidado, don't cut yourself. I get the knife and hold it in my hand. The handle is made of chrome and red wood. It feels warm and heavy. It's super beautiful. I always wanted to hold it. Pa's knife is really sharp. In one swipe, I cut the rope off the box and open the top. Ooh, there's all kinds of things in the box. It's a present full of more presents. I see bags, boxes, stuff wrapped in plastic. I pull out the first thing. It's a black leather thing. It looks like a flat pear. All right, I say. You like it, says my pa. I think so. What is it? It's a speed bag, like a punching bag, hijo, says Pa. We gotta put some air in it, hang it up. Then you can start punching it with these, he says. He rips open a blue paper bag and pulls out two puffy red gloves that make me think of clown shoes. I laugh at them. What's so funny, asks Pa. Nothing. They just look kind of funny. Puffy. They're not funny, hijo. They're boxing gloves. You can use them to hit the punching bag and maybe hit somebody in the ring one day. He punches the air and says, boom! Oh, I say. So far, this is a bad present. Where did you get all this boxing stuff, I asked Pa. At the Pulga, of course. The Árabes, they have new things for the boys today. Boxing and lucha libre, wrestling things. People were buying it up like pan caliente. Look in the box, hijo, there's more. Inside the box, there's a smaller box. I open it up. Shiny white boxer boots with silver stripes and shoelaces and little dangly pom-poms on the side. Thank you. These are so pretty. Pa gets real quiet. He opens his mouth like he's gonna say something, but he don't say nothing. He shakes his head like something bad just happened. I'm holding my boots like little twin babies, telling him they're so pretty. And then he breathes like he's really tired and he says, keep going, hijo.
And the streets and the trees will watered, and the sidewalks clean. And that's when I knew I was living in Silicon City. Well, they evicted Mia from her storefront on Valencia. Then they burned down the apartments on 22nd Street. The good die young, and isn't it a pity? But the beat goes on in Silicon City. You're a stranger now in your hometown with strange faces on once familiar streets and strange shadows at 4 o'clock and cops, strangers on a strange beat. And the days and nights are mostly gritty, but hey, it's okay. You're hanging in Silicon City. So I've been told that everything that rises must fall, and that the wicked shall be denied. But nowadays, you don't know who to trust. And watch out, you don't get run over by a Google bus. Yeah, it bees that way, all down and dirty in the heartless heart of Silicon City. Now, everybody knows the center cannot hold, but prophecy is cheap and politicians are sneaky. So, baby, get your high heel sneakers and your black beret on, because tonight we fight the power in Silicon City.
Goodbye, United States. It's clear you don't want me. The mayor of Albuquerque proclaimed sanctuary for ICE officials in the city's jails. He gave La Migra the right to harass our sisters and brothers off the streets, just as AP does on the streets. Farewell, U.S. Arizona's cancer is spreading internally. First, that sheriff plays like he's in a bad 1940s Hollywood movie. Then he doesn't investigate more than 400 sex crimes when the victims were brown and dozens were children. Today, 17-year-olds can cross state lines, kill 2 people, and be cleared of all charges. But students can't read books like Occupied America, because America isn't occupied. I knew it was over back in Cali, Uncle Sam. You want to send my children who've grown up here to places they've never been or are too young to remember. I knew it was over years ago when I found the numbers 187, 209 lining your pockets. I was a fool to think I could change you. Hello? I was a fool to think I could change you. But now, basta ya, no más. I know you don't like it when I speak Mexican. You studied in Spain, where their Spanish sounds like French or Italian, where they look French or Italian. Sam, I'm tired of having a second-class accent in your ears and a third-world body in your hands. Come on, Sammy. No one can say we didn't try. You tried to conquer me, I tried to survive you. Since it's over, since we're done, through with each other finally, I've spoken to my family, the ones who tend the yards, clean the pools, deliver the mail, answer the phones, make the copies, move the furniture, drive the trucks, fix the cars. And just so you know, defender of the free world, my brothers told our cousins who pick all that produce in the fields, slaughter the hogs and cattle, cook dishes from around the world, then wash them. And you know, I talk to my sisters every day. They're waiting at their sewing machines, computer terminals, and jumbo dryers. Our aunts and uncles are standing by their vacuum cleaners and shampooers on the office floors. My nieces and nephews have stopped asking, may I help you? You want fries with that? Yes, they're waiting for you. This is our border between our past and our future. Our past where you invaded, and our future where you're evicted. My grandpa, who worked for years in the Hunters Point shipyards, crafted a fleet that will carry your funny hats, ruffled shirts, those black shoes with big brass buckles, all your guns, all your diseases, and you, back to where you came from. My nana and her comadres have neatly folded or wrapped all your stuff into a huge tortilla, so you have a snack for your journey. U.S., Uncle, Sam, look on the bright side. They got democracy and religious freedom over there now. The two things you came here for. Consider yourself mission accomplished. What's that? Radical? Communist? Socialist? Crazy? Queer? Savage? Me? If those words mean I reject your condemning my gods and goddesses, taking my land and water, kicking me out of school, throwing me in jail, telling me who I can or cannot love, controlling how many children I choose to have, if any, and all the rest of your rules, regulations, and restrictions, then yes, all those words are true. And you're right, I've never changed. And God, mine, you can have yours back. Only knows that I've been praying for this day since you first arrived. So Sam, you found your way in. You know the way out. In case you forgot, it's the door you kept trying to push me through. Sammy, I'm going to bed, to sleep, to dream the sweetest dream, freedom.
A Spaniard prisoner given a chance to be free, as a conquistador finds himself in the so-called New World without a Spaniard woman, and among conquest subjects are perceived as subhuman. He picks and chooses indigenous women. He rapes her and has children. These children he's not cared for as they're half human. He beats the woman she refuses his orders. He abuses the children when he wants to, when they get in his way. And now 506 years later, the descendants of the ultimate dysfunctionalism, a blueprint for the colonized, 7 generations of psycho illness, of people without heads, without an identity, without an understanding, without a connection, torn from their mother and raped by their father, now lost in the sea of white to begin to recover and recognize their identity and connection to these roots that run deep in the soul of our mother. Deep in the soul of our mother, deep in the soul of our mother, deep in the soul of our mother.
Who am I is the question. Now I'm looking to the sky.
Oh, is the question really why? Where do
I fit?
souls have been ripped
In half apart, no pulse coming from my heart. I live and yet I'm dead. To live or exist, I cut off my head. In shame, look to my blood and blame. I bury my head, of course, cause you know it's gone insane. My blood is red.
my blood is red, my blood is red. Come on, my blood is red, my blood is red. My blood is red, my blood is red. My blood is red,
My blood is red.
500 años de tu confusión y vives sordo y ciego en una ilusión, pero la culpa no es tuya, es de las culebras. Los blancos europeos cerraron a las tierras y siguen controlando por todo el mundo. Me llaman ilegal, con esto me confundo. A gringo nuestras seres nos gringo nuestras seres nos has robado. Entonces gringo tú eres el gran mojado. Entonces gringo tú eres el gran mojado. Mi sangre es colorada, yo soy humano. Mi sangre es colorada, yo soy humano. My blood is red,
My blood is red.
come on. My blood is red,
My blood is red.
my blood is red,
My blood is red.
my blood is red.
My blood is red. My blood is red.
Set fast.
Oozing from my head. Emancipated from my body. It had to be shed. So I butcher myself in the roses of my bed. I cannot seem to escape this color that I bled. So do you know if this will erase my past at long last? It's freedom from myself, a shotgun blast. Confusion reigns in my thoughts, my head unsuspecting, while my body plots the execution of my thoughts. My head rise, come on! My blood is red! My blood is red! Come on! My blood is red! My blood is red!
Come on.
My blood is red!
My blood is red. My blood is red. My blood is red.
Poem is about the first landing of the Filipinos at Morro Bay in Central California. Kai, 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 Yamaya Lodo. Kai, 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 Ase su olodo. We came in waves. The first set rolled onto shore at Morro Bay in October 1857. Sneaker waves who staked across as false claim to the land that's been home to the Chumash people for over 1,000 years. We came in waves as war brides, young Pinoys enlisted in the U.S. Army. We rolled in waves of future Manongs to Seattle, Stockton, and Delano, flooding into fields, dance halls, and the I Hotel in Manila town. We spun our dreams in the whitewash and got spit back out to sea. Stranded by high tide of those signs screaming, absolutely, absolutely no Filipinos allowed. Sucked in by shimmering lies of gold-paved streets, we dog-paddled petitions for our wives, brothers, and sisters to plunge into this promised land. And we learned quickly how to hold our breath, to dive deep beneath the surface, our lungs bursting as we became nurses and worked in the fab lab in clean suits, alternating day and swing and graveyard shifts every 3 weeks. We served sugar pie de Santo and Al Robles. We served Jaime Jacinto and Dr. Don Mabalon. We swam in schools of Jabberwockies and Jeprocks, Santa Clara Pinais and B-girls. We got snagged in the tangle of middle school cholas and white rocker chicks, yet somehow ripped the hooks from our own mouths to break free. At springtide, we hide our depression. We drink Henny. We speed to Cache Creek. We buy too many quick picks. We see everything pooling, crawling, nowhere to go. But we learn to listen. This is not an ocean lullaby. This is the riptide of Yemaya's oscillating skirt. This is Encanto sliding us over shifting plates, over pelagic memory. Because we...
El norte, el sur, the east, the west. Abuelito, abuelita, yo te canto, yo te quiero, yo te canto y te amo tanto, tanto. Yo te canto y te canto en el huacán de mezcal. Hey, 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 no. Movimiento, movimiento. Los direcciones y ustedes y yo somos el seventh direction. In la quech, ustedes, nuestro otro yo, you are my other self. Movimiento, moving in the wind. Moving in the wind, moving as the wind, we travel in multiple dimensions. Lifelong journey, infinite wisdom. And you insult me when you say, I am schizophrenic, because my divisions are infinite. Ancestral wisdom, pulling us in multiple directions. North, south, east, west, flying, drowning, dancing, singing. Singing, dancing, drowning, flying. Flying down, drowning, dancing, singing, and blood memory, mixed with celestial guidance. How is your heart today? ¿Cómo se siente su corazón? How is your heart today? Mi corazón se alegre cuando a ti me canto, oh mi madre luna. Mi corazón se alegre cuando a ti te canto, oh, mi madre luna. How is your heart today? How is your heart feeling? Luminous. Luminous con el poder de ser yo. Cuando me miro en el espejo, los reflejos. Dancer, lover, sister, hija, two-spirit, Tex-Mex, lengua, spitfire, alma rising, ama de sol, amaru, dreamer, giver, trespassed against. Too many times. Demasiados. Strangers. Fallen hero. Extended family. Acquaintances. Lovers. Ya basta! My body is my heart. My heart is my heart. My body is my body, my mind is my own. My body, my heart, my mind is my own. My body, my heart, my mind is my own. Healing, siempre healing, constantly healing. Crushed peyote buttons blooming in sagrada sangre, siempre healing. No leo pakwi, ikwakni mitzitni, nana metzlitzin. My heart is filled with joy when you sing to me, oh grandmother Luna. Keneki, keneki, teponatzli. Oh.
Thank you, Selekiyatsa. It's an honor to be here with you all and celebrate this year's on Thanksgiving ceremony, this decolonizers dinner. You know, my family took this racist celebration and called it Survivor Supper. For some pretty obvious reasons, right? And yeah, we're definitely all survivors, but it was always extra special for me and my family folk, you know? Still, it's been a while since I've had a plate anywhere. Anyway, here's something for the occasion. Give it up for the winners, the all-American killers, breaking all-time records, co-opting messiahs and shepherds, breaking land, innocence, promises, and treaties, breaking word, health, respect for families, breaking culture, ways, and this here humanity. Jackie Natsia, blood for that money love. Their pipelines leak and start poisoning her flesh, her soil. They've been drunk with privilege like deplorable. 45 orange boil, snakes tread, bite, and recoil. Insurrection dope dreams off aluminum foil. When the autopsy reports they found her, knees bloodied, hands buried, hearts carried, the faces of sisters missing, the faces of daughters murdered by products of systems that came to kill culture while trying to pimp nature, putting price tags on it with barcodes, washing out residual hope of indigenous sons hanging from oak trees, whispering screams from past and present centuries. Like this when they pissed on our graves and they'd whip us with open arms, when they opened arms on you, me, tribe, deep, tax paid, genocide's fee. When someone's father's greatest grandfather fed us doctrines of discovery, perverting the beauty of reality, of me, Sholeta, two, spirit, two, Ula Masana, busted by borderlines, handcuffed by the conquered, and cut by divide. All their dreamings dreamed we'd hide or die. For their land grab, their backstab, their fences forced up by false flags. Driving under the influence of power of a royal highway, 101 lonely prison tower. Disrobing cash courtrooms outside of Kashawa. With a neophyte, Jesus, nailed to a broken truce. From family in the south, Tesano, Noque, Sufuno. Couldn't convert us all, Momoyacalpa, Atsia. Could it remove us all, Momoyacalpa, Atsia. Could never know this love for our mother rock, Momoyacalpa, Atsia. Uwa. One more. War. Hey, war, buddy? Nah, that ain't funny. Well, who said that? Some big-time company. They've been pushing it for years to profit off of fears. Because when things get hard, they say, buy more cars. Yeah, and that we're gonna need gas or we ain't getting far. Make us suck a third world soul as a patriotic goal. But why we gotta trip off their global hold? We think it's about time they ought to let go. My abuelita said the same when they stole Mexico. Well, just ask your homies, your neighbors, and your tíos. The people should be president of los Estados Unidos. Yeah! Well then, hey, let's take a poll. We went and asked constituents around the barrio. This many of the homies were like, what? Well, this many were all, I don't know, eh? But then this man, he said, pretty good, Holmes. We can run this country, yo, and we can do it without getting all unilateral, fool. So then, friends, paisas, countrymen, if we can all just do ourselves a favor and start running for president right here, right now, get the old school politicos to throw in the towel because the time has come to take back our pueblos, remove the mal gobiernos, make our voices heard on all kinds of other levels. I mean, ya se más, haven't we had enough of the cheating, lying federals pointing their crusty old dedos, cutting power, tripping pedos in everybody's land from here to somewhere pretty freaking lejos? Well, what about those of us all strung out under upper-class leftovers? Those nickel and dime peace posers and all them homeland insecurity acting holy rollers. For the next presidential election, the strongest candidate should be us. The one, the many. Vote for us, everybody, for president. Vote for you, be the heifers of the government. Vote for mom, now would that be wrong? Vote for your kid, like what's his name did. Vote for your homie, not some weak old phony. Vote for your pops and not those punk-ass cops. Vote for your sister better than the mister. Vote for the earth, the one that gave us birth. Hey, we got to vote for the crops and not the bombs that's been 4 and 3 and 2 and run for the White House. Fuck January 6th. We don't need no gun because our election day has finally come when every single resident votes to get president and all citizens or non-citizens will need no permission. So just bust on in. From the barrios of the brave to the ghettos of the free, with or without cable TV. Hi-fi internet or the military. It's time we control the reality, and time we control the reality, time we control the reality. Because who here knows if the news ever shows a public that really actually favored a 45 whatever, yo? Because if that's the case, then why do we not embrace every pinto sitting in some locked up place? Because I mean, shouldn't we be the rulers of our tierra? Cut out all the abusive mierda. Corporate cokeheads, you know we ain't afraid of ya. Because without us, there be no America. Thank you.
So you want to know the truth? Aww. Let me give you another hit of this truth. Are you ready? The truth is the crack of nightstick on skull as 200-pound Gestapo pig pounds away his fears of the inevitable. The truth is the sound of bullets breaking glass in a Riverside County gas station as young girl is executed on the spot. 12 bullets in the back for DWB, driving while black. The truth. Shit, the truth is that the cops who threw Aaron Rivera through the glass doors after the bomb concert on Cinco de Mayo sent him to the hospital bloodied and bruised, broken bones, and all the truth is they never found the pipe they claimed the young homeboy was carrying. In fact, it was the wrong guy all along, man. The truth is that it takes 4 squad cars and 6 police officers just to stop one small indigenous-looking Mexican on the brown streets of San Jose. The truth is that Diallo was reaching for his wallet, not a gun, when NYPD pumped 41 shots and 19 bullets into his body. The truth gets kind of ugly sometimes. We don't want to look at the truth, because sometimes the truth is the sound of death trying to fuck you in the ass with a plunger, then realizing you can't get it up, so it just beats you down. The truth. The truth is their time as king shit is almost over. They know it, I know it, shit, we all know it. That's why Mr. Racist motherfucking pig always be reaching for his phallic gun every time he sees me. Makes him feel good, makes him feel strong, reminds him of the good old days when they could just shoot us and no one gave a damn. But the truth is,
que aquí estamos y no nos vamos, aquí estamos y no nos vamos, aquí estamos y no nos vamos, y si nos llevan, regresamos, and that's the truth. Ruth. Papa was a rolling stone. Wherever he laid his hat was his home. And when he died, all he left us was alone. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Papa was a rolling stone. Wherever he laid his hat was his home. And when he died, all he left us was alone. Oh yeah, yeah. The truth. Hit me. Word.
Mexican laws of Darwinism indicate that we must avoid going to the hospital at all cost. Financial debt is a form of death. We were all just a vicissitude away, one misfortune away from crashing back to poverty, back to zero, back to washing clothes by some riverbed in the motherland, pounding rocks against a boulder. These instances of bad luck could send a generation back a century. Our lives were inextricably tied to money, our blood, our labor, our backs. It only takes a sneeze to cause an avalanche. And in the economic world of the undocumented, it can just as easily start with a cough. Just one pang in the side. And then you're being buried alive by a torrent of hospital bills. And to avoid this, anytime somebody became sick in our family and it no longer helped to cough into a pillow, denial is a cheap form of medicine. We avoided the city hospital. Instead, we'd go to the local clinic. Nah, not that one. The one in the Latino strip mall. Sandwiched between a four repair joint and a knockoff Dollar Tree store. Sickness and upward mobility both have their price. When money and el tiempo are too tight, we go to El Salvador, the Masos who lived in the projects, El Campo de Gobierno, and my family avoided going there since my father was too proud, not quite being able to articulate the tacit pathology afflicting the lowest of the lower class, los más de abajo, los mexicanos, as good as welfare. And the only difference between them and my Okie white trash friends was that we spoke Spanglish. They spoke in Okie, the both of us speaking and not giving a fuck. Reckless tongues that give the universal pull, that pour, that inimitable cadence, that accent of the indignified. No equator or border required. We begged mi papá to move us there with them, with us, no? And we would visit on occasion. We'd refuse to leave, feeling it was on pa. Por favor, we gotta be here. Can we stay? And my mother said nothing, just sighed. In private, my father would respond, listen, they are uneducated, uncivilized. Esa gente del campo son mal educada, which meant their circumstances didn't allow them to afford some etiquette or act with dignity. But community can only be born by being dangerously raw. These mal educados, these uncivilized species roared with life, unlike our upper class town filled with Okies, white welfare recipients. These Mexicans kids with eternal grass-stained knees who broke all the rules in soccer, baseball, muchachitos y muchachitas who bled with concrete abrasions on their elbows and didn't flinch. The few times I played there, we would hunt the smell of dead animals, discover a decomposing body, and poke it with sticks until his chest would cave in, revealing a riot of maggots. Unscripted lives, unsupervised, the threat of danger and pain was our rush of entertainment. Caution is a form of boredom, an affliction only tailored to the rich. But we had to go. We had to go to El Campo, land of the Los Delicados, these undignified, to visit the Salvador. Appa was losing it. All of it. He was having bouts of insomnia, los nervios, and his nerves, los pinches nervios, made him delirious, panic-stricken, and little by little, he was grappling with hallucinations, a madness who was confusing us with his past. Since we weren't aware of his psychologist, nor could we have afforded one, we depended on what was available. Remedios, milagros, fe en Dios, El Salvador, Vicks, Vapor Rub, 7-Up, and prayers. The holy trinity of Mexican treatment sometimes falls short. And we felt we were on the brink. Our house of Loteria cards collapsing. In the house, bills were unopened. Debt collectors called, and to stay on script, we respond, me no speaking no English, and we'd hang up. And when they called at a different time and asked to speak for a penny or iron, we'd reply, what you say? And all of them fail, given that one can't label the sickness. Maybe we lack courage. Maybe we lack faith. Maybe we lack the power. No wonder we are all sick.
Abba Salegua. Ere. Mu. JJ. Follow the chickadee, please clap. Abba Salegua, ere mujeje, gudu gudu awo deri fe. Abba Salegua, ere mujeje. Gudu gudu awo deri fe. Abba Salegua Shango. Abba Salegua ere mujeje. Gudu gudu awo deri fe. Abba Salegua ere mujeje. Gudu gudu awo deri fe. Abba Salegua Shango.
Taking poetry where it's needed most.
This is something you can't understand.
Or I could just eat chancho frito in the morning, rise with a fist full of abuela brava, stuff my cheeks with Phoenix light and be
reborn.
A street charlatan, reading the lines, fooling you wrote to his cousin, fool you too.
Reborn.
a homeless lyricist. Overpass highs the rhyme came from Saigon on backside of dominoes. Hold my sign to the mirror.
Reborn!
Anica India slanging tortillas a peso, chupa el hueso to taste my verse.
This is something you can't understand. How I could just separate my dashiki by simply hearing it differently. Celebrate the Kango like bicultural tones of skin, while phony poets pose like Donna Karen on stage. Frustrated with lack of attention, but there's no color in your lines. You're just confused and full of rage.
Can I finish?
If you like, express your executionary fantasies.
Can I finish?
Here is my sexual orientation that you could strap in.
Can I finish?
My autobiography told with a gun to my head for the vote I paid for with the sweat of my breath.
Can I finish?
Can I finish? Here is this ballotless poem of love to pay the rent.
Can I finish?
You're begging the question, why can't we all just get along? But until you learn to listen, well, I play to the beat of a different drum.
If I could bring you into the poetry bowl, look at the fields of smoked opponents in their gaze. We have moved the markers first in goal. Spotlight those linebackers crushing the stage. Pleather curtains and the play unfolds. Mission Libre rhyming and 14 line elbows flying. Unlock the shotgun steps of El Nuevo Ritmo. I seen your mama, think she hip. Quoted kisses on page 1 as the camera flips.
The script.
I pried the slide and made the blackbird cry for open mic seeds and wings of dust.
This is something you can't understand.
How I was once recognized as a brown bomb between 2 sticks of dynamite. I massacred the grape, danced on the ledge, machine goods at my feet. The taste of rain was urine beneath a peanuts umbrella. My bloody knuckles, the poetry pops the cap. Twisted syllables like foreign currency. Every line a Russian paradigm. The UPS picket line celebrates poet who wrote no justice, no feet.
Taking poetry where it's needed most. This is something you can't understand.
Mañana belongs to a young puente with an old woman's hands playing out vida on a comal. La lección given on the lap of civilization, posted up on the corner. The village cipote raps out the lesson on a garbage can. He say, "Hey, barrio, what the fuck?" Bright street hot with many homegrown, lyric breeze, Mission Libre. Shy girl has the sad eyes of poetry. The lesson goes, tum tum tum.